Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Football Stooges. Back from our 1 week vacation, if you will. Back again to cover football in the stupidest way you can imagine.
And boy, it's stupid.
Very stupid this week. We got a lot to get to. Well, actually, not a lot to get to. We're only going to cover the semifinal of the UFL, and then we're going to look forward to the final of the UFL, which is coming up this weekend. An exciting showdown that we have. I don't believe we are able to look at the end of season awards yet for the UFL, but we'll cover those next week. So we're going to have a quick little episode to look at all of that. Get in, get out, and take a look at the UFL and its standings as we narrow into the end of the season. But I cannot do this alone, so as always, my compatriots in Stoogery back again to a full 5 this week, starting out with the Purell hand sanitizer of the show here for 99.9% of all episodes. Goldilocks hates to see him coming. It's Mastodon.
Wait, what? Okay. I survived wisdom teeth distraction. Also, the anesthesia they gave me when they put it in anesthesia.
Okay.
Anesthesia. Okay.
The sleepy medicine.
When,
yes, go ahead.
Yeah. When they put the needle in, and when they start to put took the tourniquet off, they called me in, so I was like, okay, still awake. Bam! And next thing I know, it's like a walkie to the car that my coworker was driving and taking me back home. I was like, holy shit, that was quick.
Yeah, it's like time travel. It's amazing.
I know.
Someone who wishes they could time travel back to the 80s and watch the Bears. It's Mamba.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see this year.
Yeah,
We'll see.
You know, before the season starts, Bears fans are like, we're so a second into the season starting, they're playing taps.
Always like that. I mean,
mid CS match, it's Gorlami.
No, CS match is done.
CS match is done.
I've returned.
Got done.
I've returned. And the drinking has returned.
Bush.
what a bush.
There we go. In true Bush League fashion.
Hey, I get it. I don't get it.
And last but certainly not least, the one, the only, VK Duff.
My defenders are in the final. That's all that matters for me right now.
Yeah, there you go. Great season for them. Great defense, much improved from the last 2 years. We'll take a look at their semifinal win and move forward from there. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to look at the crossover grid as always. Then we will have Kiddiff news, and then we'll go immediately into coverage of the 2 semifinal games. Obviously, I was on vacation last week, so I could not make an episode then. However, the last week of UFL games was very reminiscent of old NFL games. There wasn't much at stake. There was a lot of like third string guys getting in, which is great for the UFL, getting guys some film, but at the same time, there's not much competition for us to cover there, so I don't feel too bad about missing that. So we're just going to cut straight to the turkey. We're going to talk turkey immediately. We're going to cut to the chase, all that good stuff. So we'll immediately talk about the semifinal games, preview the final, and then you'll be on your merry way. So let's, without further ado, get into the good old crossover grid. All right, a Raven and a Buccaneer. Is this Jason Pierre-Paul?
Was he a Raven?
Yes.
Yes.
When was that?
A long time ago. This is elite quarterback. Quarterback Joe Flacco. This could be a ton of guys. This could be
Odell. Odell.
No.
Mark Ingram's on the Saints. Mark Ingram is Saints.
I thought he was. Hold on. I thought he was on the Ravens during. Well, maybe not when Odell was there.
Probably not when Odell was there.
Yeah, teammate of Mark Ingram that also.
Yeah, not
Baltimore.
Not when Odell was there.
Maybe subs.
Because Mark Ingram was from 2019.
We could do Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Yes, he was
good.
No, Lindenbaum's too early.
No, too late.
Too late, yeah. Mark Andrews?
Maybe.
Yep, Mark Andrews. All right. Now on to a bunch of Texans.
Texans and a buck. Oh,
Watson.
Oh,
no. Deshaun. For Browns. For Bucks, Texans. Ryan Fitzpatrick was a
Yes.
Texan, right?
Yes.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then a Texan that was also a teammate of Mark Ingram. I believe this is only NFL, so Alabama alma maters will not count here.
He was on the Texans in 21.
Are you drinking a banquet right now,
2021.
son?
I am drinking a banquet right now.
I appreciate you.
2021. So we could think of any of the.
Laremy Tunsil. Laremy Tunsil.
How do you spell Larry? L-A-R-M.
L-A-R-E-M-Y.
There it is at the bottom. Laremy Tunsil. Boom. Good pull. All right. Teammates of Jameis Winston. We could do Mike Evans here.
Yep.
Chris
Yeah, might have-
Godwin or Vita Vea.
Yeah. Then teammates of Jameis Winston that was on the Browns. That was anybody this year. Osu.
Nick Chubb.
Thinking
You
Nick
mean
Chubb.
Or Mora.
Yes, some. Yep. Okay.
And then a
teammate
teammate of
of Mark
Jameis and
Ingram.
Mark Ingram.
Nick Ingram. Oh.
So somebody on the Saints right
The
now.
Saints.
Trevor
Donnie Badger. Trevor Penning. Ooh.
Derek Carr.
Might be a little. Oh, Trevor Penning.
Oh.
Shout out. Trent Dilfer is another one. Wow. Shout out Trent Dilfer. That's crazy.
Wait. Oh, that means he has 2 Super Bowl rings, right? Hold on.
Does Trent Dilfer have 2 Super Bowl rings?
If he was a backup for somebody,
checking.
maybe.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
it was only
no.
with the
He
Ravens.
won with the Ravens. I mean, he did a good job. But
It's
also
just-
that
I
defense is
thought-
amazing.
I thought he was with the Bucks when they won it. Sorry.
All right. And before we go to KDF News, KDF, can you just fill us in about the
Oh.
Shamar? Fill us in real quick about the Shamar Stewart situation.
Well, I mean, do you really want me to talk about it? Because it just makes fun of how the Bengals front office has been running things recently. Yeah. I'll take your silence as a yes. So, out of a lot of the first round picks from this year, there's been a number that still haven't signed their rookie contracts. Most notably, Bengals defensive end and 17th overall pick Shamar Stewart, who not only has still not signed his thing, but he has now completely left mandatory minicamp. He already wasn't going to be taking part in any practices, considering that he hadn't signed any deals yet. But considering you still haven't signed him, the Trey Hendrickson debacle is still going on. And not to mention, you let Jermaine Pratt walk all the way over to Las Vegas out of
he was cut.
fucking nowhere.
I mean, he was cut. He was cut, and I think that was honestly fair to do. Jermaine Pratt's been great, but the firing of Lou Anarumo was something that he was staunchly against, to the point at which he went to the front office and was yelling at the front office, according to reports. And he also has had has had a downtrend of his productivity, and I think Logan Wilson, it's time to step into the MLB one. So I'm sad to see him go, but at the same time, I can see why they do it. That's fine with me. The other front office decisions this offseason has been like, huh? Wow, just what? I'm like,
yeah. I do have to admit, the firing of Lou Amarillo was definitely weird.
Somewhat controversial, I'll give it that.
I mean, something had to happen.
Reasons for and against. So
something had to happen, like from a business perspective, but like, I don't really agree with it either.
Because this was like his
horrible.
only. His defense was horrible, but that was only his bad. That's his only bad year, if I remember.
It wasn't a bad year. It was a cataclysmic year.
Okay, but like what I'm saying is
a dip in production. I know it's just one time. This isn't like a little dip. This is like going from Mount Everest, where we got to the Super Bowl, to 2 years later being in the Mariana Trench. And it went down fast. And I know we lost some big guys. Jesse Bates is gone. I get that. He's one of the best safeties in football. Von Bell's only getting older. And our secondary is... Fuck me, I don't know what it is.
I was thinking it was more roster.
Fuck you, I don't know what it is.
No, honest, like, all due respect to Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson is 10 times as good as he is, and Jermaine Pratt was only getting worse. Love the guy. He goes for the ball amazingly. He's a pretty hard hitter, but he's getting older. He's getting slower. if I were a betting man, I would bet he would have under 25 tackles for this season in Vegas. I don't even know if he'll stay healthy. But what were you saying, Massive?
Okay. Oh, no, I'm done.
Okay. But yeah, now we'll go ahead and get to KFS.
Oh my god, he's so short. He's short. He's literally short.
I dropped my phone on her desk. Let me grab that real quick.
Yo, it's Lord Farquaad.
Some of you may die. That is a
Look,
sacrifice
alive.
I am willing to make.
Peter Dinklage is saying you.
know the Muffin Man?
Peter Dinklage.
The Muffin Man!
Well, I basically am the Peter
You
Dinklage. of the
spin
thing. I
me
drink and I know
right
things.
round.
Run, baby, right round like
you're
a
short.
rocket, baby. Right, round.
Okay.
I
Guys, look,
basically am
it's
the Peter Dinklage.
Hornswoggle.
Oh my god. What a reference. But anyway, I basically am the Peter Dinklage of this thing. I drink and I know things. Anyway, let's start out with injury stuff. I'm going to start out with the UFL for this week's championship. It's between the Defenders and the Panthers. So, Defenders, everybody on their injury report is good to go. For the Panthers, you've got Bryce Torrington out with a knee injury. Kenny H. Lovely, cornerback, out with a chest injury, and defensive end Kenny Wilkes out with a hip injury. Other than that, the only person that could be questionable are wide receiver Xavier Malone with a knee injury and cornerback Adonis Alexander with a hip injury. Now, going into mandatory minicamp stuff, because that's been kicking off for the NFL. Where I got another out for the year, this being Steelers tight end Donald Parham Jr., who tore his Achilles. So that's just rough news for him. But shorter to long-term stuff, Patriots linebacker Jelani Tavai's got a calf injury. He's going to be out until training camp starts. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson, he's apparently aggravated his shoulder injury he suffered back in 2023. He's out for the remainder of minicamp. And for more longer-term stuff, linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez has an undisclosed knee injury that's going to be keeping him out until the earliest November. Other questionables, Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud was dealing with some minor shoulder soreness. Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts with a minor foot injury. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott coming back from his knee injury, but he's been looking good from what reps we've been seeing of him. And just defensive end Jermaine Johnson also likely to come back in time for training camp because of the Achilles injury that kept him out most of last year. Other than that, outside of the player side of things, University of Colorado head coach Deion Sanders took time away from summer football camps as he'd been dealing with an undisclosed health issue. According to his son Deion Jr., he's actually been doing good, so that's most likely to be a short-term thing. And Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh revealed he had successful surgeries in the offseason for a hip replacement and to treat the cardiac ablation that's had him miss a couple games throughout his time in the NFL over his career. Other than that, as we go on to signings, re-signings, and other stuff, we're going to quickly go through the holdout stuff. We already discussed the Shamar Stewart thing. Trey Hendrickson is also not attending minicamp over his new contract demands. Packers guard Elton Jenkins is going to be reporting at mid-contract talks, but is unlikely to practice. Buccaneers defensive end Hassan Reddick is attending minicamp after he was absent without excuse for OTAs. Steelers defensive end TJ Watt is also not attending minicamp with new mid-contract talks. Same with Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin. And then two guys that are just likely not to be moved because they're likely not going to be going because they're going to be moved. Two guys from the Dolphins. First off, cornerback Jalen Ramsey, as we've already previously discussed, they've been trying to move on from him for a bit now. And tight end Jonnu Smith, who if I was a Dolphins fan, I might want to keep him after the season he had last year, but it's mainly because he's been in talks to be sent to another team, specifically one where he's familiar with his former head coach Arthur Smith. There's been talks that with the Donald Parham injury, the Steelers might make a move for Jonnu Smith to reunite him with Smith. So until that happens, I can only speculate on that. Other than that, Bills running back is reporting for minicamp despite also seeking for new contract stuff. And after multiple weeks of thinking that they were going to probably try to move him and his albatross of a Coles cash contract. Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins has been attending minicamp. So it looks like they're going to be going on with a $70 million backup on the bench this year. Something like that.
Possibly.
I don't remember how much yeah. On to signing stuff for the Cardinals. Rookie defensive tackle Walter Nolan signed his 4-year deal worth $19.3 million with a 10.7 signing bonus. Ravens extended wide receiver Rashad Bateman on a 3-year, $36.7 million extension with $20 guaranteed. Bills have signed former Panthers linebacker Shaq Thompson. Figured he was going to be getting out of Carolina sooner or later. We discussed how the Bengals released Jermaine Pratt. He already signed a 1-year deal with the Raiders. You kind of saw it coming release, but we're going to go over to Gorline for his thoughts on this one. Packers releasing cornerback Jair Alexander. How do you feel about that, Gorline?
For as long as we had him, feels like he only played half the games, but when he was playing, he was good.
Yeah. Not wrong.
It sucks, but I get why they did it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I feel he was only held to about 7 games a season for the past 2 years with injuries.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's just rough.
Still got McKinney, so
you still do have McKinney, so that kind of helps it a little bit. Moving on, the Texans are signing former Browns running back Nick Chubb on a 1-year, $5 million deal. And the Jaguars have signed former Bills defensive end Dwayne Smoot. That's his second stint with the team. He last played with them in 2023. And they're extending punter Logan Cook on a 4-year, $4 million deal, which makes him the highest paid punter in the NFL currently. The Chargers are extending linebacker Bud Dupree on a 1-year, $6 million deal. The Rams have signed former 49ers defensive tackle DJ Humphries on a 1-year deal. Apparently, he's been with the 49ers back in April, but was like negotiating a deal with them, but has ultimately decided to go to a different rival in that division. So that happened there. The Vikings are extending tight end Josh Oliver on a 3-year, $23.2 million deal. It's 19.9 guaranteed with 27.5 at max value. Patriots, our rookie offensive tackle Will Campbell is getting a 4-year, $43.6 million deal. And also the big one we missed earlier this week. It finally fucking happened. The Steelers have signed former Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers on a 1-year, $13.5 million deal worth up to $19.5. Yay!
I love the Steelers.
How about them Steelers? Let's see. The 49ers, they missed out on DJ Humphries, but have acquired former Eagles defensive end Bryce Huff in a trade for a mid-round draft pick. I don't know if the actual details of that have been disclosed. And that's actually it for signings. Now on to retirements. Lions center Frank Ragnow has announced his retirement after 8 years in the league, all spent with the Lions. He's ending his career a 4-time Pro Bowler, 3-time second-team All-Pro, and started all 96 games he appeared in. So, big loss for the Lions offensive line. Yeah, this one's not much of a loss for me specifically because I only signed him in the offseason. But Patriots guard Wes Schweister has retired after 9 seasons in the league spent with the Commanders, Falcons, and Jets, and signed with us this offseason. He's ending his career a 1-time second-team All-Mountain West player and started 62 out of 90 career games. Not exactly a major career. And former Texans cornerback Ronald Darby has also announced his retirement after 10 years in the league, spent with the Texans, Bills, Commanders, Eagles, Broncos, Jaguars, and Ravens. He's ending his career a 1-time Super Bowl champ and recorded 447 tackles, 8 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery. Other miscellaneous news around the leagues. This is one I just saw right before we went live. It's kind of dark. Defenders cornerback Kelvin Joseph has been arrested earlier this week after he was involved in a fatal crash in Texas that left a 27-year-old woman dead. Police reports indicate he was drinking and driving behind the wheel, and despite the fact that someone has died because of this, he has somehow bonded out after posting bail, which is sparking a bit of outrage. I wouldn't want the guy who drunk drivingly killed a loved one to be out of jail waiting trial, but we'll just see how that goes. I think that will likely mean he's not going to be playing the championship game. Let's see. Other than that, with the Steelers signing quarterback Aaron Rodgers, he will now have the opportunity to become the 5th player all time to have won a game against all 32 teams in the NFL when the Steelers are playing the Packers in Week 8. The only other 4, of course, are Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, and Drew Brees. In case you forgot, Brees was not a full-time Saint his entire career.
Rodgers.
The Colts. Yep. The Saints have. Sorry, the Saints. Excuse me. The Colts have officially transferred team ownership to the daughters of the late Jim Irsay, Carly Irsay Gordon, Casey Foyt, and Kaylin Jackson. All 3 of them will be officially named owners, but will be splitting other leadership duties around the organization and foundations tied to the team and their dad. And then we have a trio of passing aways of former players. First up, Cowboys center Tom Rafferty. He passed away at the age of 70, played 13 years in the league, all with the Cowboys, and in his career, a one-time Super Bowl champ and starting 182 out of 203 career games. Next up, former Packers punter and board member Eddie Garcia passed away at the age of 65. Only spent 4 years in the league with the Packers and Dolphins before later joining the Packers board of directors. Didn't really have a long career and only ended with a 33% field goal average on 9 attempts with a career long of 51 yards. But probably the biggest one is a guy who I honestly don't know how he isn't in the Hall of Fame yet, but it's former Vikings legend, defensive end Jim Marshall. He passed away at the age of 87, played 20 years in the NFL for the Vikings and Browns, as well as a year in the CFL for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He ended his career a one-time NFL champion. This was before the Super Bowl era. 3-time second-team All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler. Had his number 70 retired by the Vikings for his role in the Purple People Eaters defense. Recorded 130.5 sacks, 30 fumble recoveries, and 1 interception, touchdown, and a safety, albeit that safety was on his infamous 66-yard wrong way run in 1964.
Oh.
Yeah, he's that guy. He's also the former record holder for most consecutive games played by a defensive player in 289, most consecutive starts with a team at 270. His 30 fumble recoveries is a league record, and for most seasons played by a defensive player at 20 straight years. So rest in peace to him, Rafferty, and Garcia. And unless I missed anything from Schefter here, no, that's really all I got.
Alrighty. Thank you very much, Mr. Kaduff. Let's get right into it. We're going to start with the I don't remember if this is the XFL final or the UFL final, but
this would be the
UFL final.
USFL.
Yeah. Michigan Panthers and Birmingham Stallions playing from Birmingham, Alabama, even though the Michigan Panthers had a better season record. The reason they could not play in Detroit was because of a conflicting schedule with a Kendrick Lamar concert. So this was in Birmingham. Despite that, being at home didn't matter. The Bryce Perkins show was in full effect after missing 2 weeks with a lower ankle injury, or lower leg injury and ankle injury, and then a couple other, also as well as resting. Bryce Perkins came back and led his team to victory with a 44-29 victory. The possible MVP favorite, it feels like with Tomu playing 2 extra weeks at the end of the season, there might be some switch up here, but the possible MVP favorite, Bryce Perkins, went 20 for 25 for 238 and a touchdown with no picks, 80% completion percentage for a 119.7 rating. He also ran the ball 8 times for 34 yards and a touchdown. Other rushers, Toa Tua, 21 for 85 for 3 touchdowns. And Matthew Corbin II, 10 for 25. For the Panthers receiving department, Malik Turner, 6 for 99 yards and a touchdown. Cole Hikatuni, 6 for 53. Devin Ross, 1 for 29. Jalen Moore, 4 for 28. Sosi Marner, 2 for 24. And Toa Tua, 1 for 5. For the Stallions, Matt Corral, 12 for 25 for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns for 1 pick for a 48% completion percentage and a 76.6 rating. I believe, was also injured during the game. So then Jamar Smith came in, went 4 for 10 for 102 yards for 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Moving on to the rushing department for the Stallions, CJ Marvel 8 for 28 and a touchdown. Matt Krause 3 for 18. Marlon Williams 2 for 7. Jamar Smith 1 for 5. Ricky Pearson Jr. 2 for 4, and Darren Davis 1 for -1. For receiving, Deion Kane, number 8 right there, 6 receptions, 124 yards with no touchdowns. That is crazy that he didn't get 1 touchdown with that much receiving yards. Jordan Thomas, as you saw there, 3 for 39 and 2 touchdowns. Davian Davis, 2 for 30 and a touchdown. Ricky Pearson Jr., 3 for 26. Ronald Williams, 1 for 24. Jay Sternberger, 1 for 6. This puts to rest the three-peat possibility for the Stallions. They're officially eliminated after making it 1 game short of being back in the final for the 3rd straight year. I think this year, one of the big changes for them is less solid quarterback play. Not that it is bad, but at the same time, Martinez last year was incredible. Their run game wasn't as solid as it used to be, and their defense fell off the face of the earth. Albeit, this was a defense going up against a versatile quarterback in Bryce Perkins. But too many mistakes, a pick six, as you see here, to Nakua. So, when it comes down to it, I think the offense for the Panthers was just unstoppable. Their defense did a great job, but at the same time, 44 points scored is crazy. It is a crazy amount to score. I just don't see. I mean, this is going to be a great showdown as we have upcoming with the DC Defenders because of their defense and the talent of the Panthers offense, but it was just hard to stop Bryce Perkins and company. Anybody else's thoughts on the game?
Sad.
Yeah.
It's a hoedown. It was
I'm trying to think. I wasn't really able to watch the games.
Yeah, I wasn't either, but still sad.
I was able to watch this one, and it was both actually, and it was a time. Yeah. Yeah, the Stallions definitely took a step down from last year, but they're still very solid. So I don't think they're out for any reason that, come next year. It's not like they were horrible, but again, Bryce Perkins is just a hard guy to stop. So we'll have to see how that goes next week. But I mean, again, this is Bryce Perkins, again, an amazing performance. Only 5 incompletions on 25 attempts, no interceptions, 238 yards, 1 touchdown passing, 1 rushing. Like, ugh, absolutely nuts. Yeah. Also, this 56-yard attempt here was pretty nuts. From
how many yards?
56.
Still decent.
That's still pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
That's a Toby kicker.
Yeah, thicker kicker, Harrison Mevis.
Shit.
Yeah. 56-yard long kick was amazing.
They give him a mattress instead of shoulder pads or something? Like, what?
Nope, there goes Bryce Perkins. Again, like the...
That's right. When I saw the
Wow!
highlight of this,
Like, look at this! Like, again,
Stallions.
like...
What is the excuse there?
Well, no. Also, no. Go back to when he was in the pocket. I actually, when I saw this highlight, I think one thing that actually showed his pocket presence is really good. Of knowing not to just go out now.
Yeah, sits, waits.
It was
Pocket
good.
starts to collapse, makes a move.
See,
And he's able to
that's
know
what-
he had space there, so he didn't just freak out when there was some pressure.
This feels inexcusable to me, though. Like, you missed that.
Yeah,
He's
It's-
up right there.
It's also the quarterback getting close to the sidelines is like you gotta have to slow down a little bit, and Perkins and especially Mahomes plays to this very well. Perkins is using it to get more yardage. Mahomes uses it to be a bitch and flop. But this is honestly, I think this is kind of a problem in modern football about not hitting the quarterback. Is that like this can occur? Now again, that was just a dumbass arm tackle by 99, and then somewhat of a blow by because it's trying to slow down to not hit the quarterback there. But then like. An amazing stiff arm.
But then 99 just gets spun and has ankle broken here.
Yeah. Just yeah. I again
presence.
There has not been many times where I have seen someone like just the greatest show on turf style of play where it's just like they make the game so entertaining.
And Perkins is that guy. I'll give him that.
Yeah. I mean, like, how many quarterbacks do you see throw a stiff arm? Like, I get there's elusive guys. There's been Vic, Jackson, even guys way back like Fran Tarkington. But, like, that stiff arm he threw, well, that was like a running back-esque stiff arm. That was power. That was strong. That was a lineman he threw down.
Andrew Luck never really did stiff arm.
Well, Andrew Luck wasn't as mobile as this. Like, he was just, but not as quick, like, strong. I mean, Tebow maybe? But Tebow wasn't this talented, like, throwing the football.
He's a running back playing quarterback position. That's Tebow.
Yeah, Tebow was a fullback playing the quarterback position. Tebow wasn't a running back.
Yeah,
that was a fullback.
Edmonton just scored. So
they
tied
won
2-2, and they tied 2-2 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, they just scored.
Nice.
End of OT. Yeah.
So yeah, can't wait for the showdown. But this Michigan Panthers offense is incredible. Their defense is gonna have to shore up though, because they did let up 29 points. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to win against DC like that, because they have a very talented defense. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on now to the other end, the XFL Conference Championship between the DC Defenders and St. Louis Battlehawks. This one was kind of rough. The defense for DC adapted greatly. They were on the road in probably the toughest barn to play at for the XFL, in that the St. Louis always has a ton of fans. So they had to really bring their A game and be on point and sharp. And they had to really adjust, because they were going to have to play a defense that was very focused on this right here, the ability of the quarterback to scramble. There was a lot of design quarterback runs, option plays, different things of that nature that they had to be ready for, and they answered the call. They forced St. Louis to win the game through their traditional quarterback play, and it did not happen. The DC Defenders locked up on defense, really put some QB spies in the way of Duggan and forced him to sit in that pocket and beat them with his arm. And Duggan was not able to pull through this time. On the other end of the ball, Tamu and company unleashed an aerial assault, as well as a very powerful run game, and dominated the side of the ball there. So a great double-way performance for the Defenders. It was also kind of rough for the Battlehawks, excuse me, because Duggan did go down with an injury, and Silvers came in and also got injured. So that was rough. But again, final score was 36-18 in favor of the DC Defenders, getting the win on the road. For them, Tamu, 18 for 26 for 204, a touchdown, a pick for a just shy of a 70% completion percentage with 69.2. Nice. And 83.9 rating. Rushing, Deion Jackson had a great day. 21 attempts for 110 yards for 2 touchdowns. Abram Smith, 13 for 64 for a touchdown. And Tamu also ran the ball twice for 13 yards. Receiving, Seth Williams, 2 for 61 and a touchdown. Cordon Powell, 4 for 57. Chris Rowland, 5 for 42. Jaden Minkins, 3 for 18. Braden Sayers, 1 for 8. Ben Brayshawn, 1 for 7. Deion Jackson, 1 for 7. Abram Smith, 1 for 4. For the Battlehawks, Max Duggan, 7 for 14 for 105 yards and a pick. 50% completion percentage for 45 rating. Silvers came in 6 for 10 for 81 and a touchdown, no picks for a 60% completion percentage. Running the ball, they couldn't get much done. Jacob Saylor's 9 for 45 and a touchdown. Duggan 8 for 33 and a touchdown. And Javon Howard 5 for 5. Frank Darby 2 for 53 receiving. Jahor Pearson 2 for 50. Jacob Saylor's 3 for 27. Javon Howard 2 for 19. And Hakeem Butler 2 for 19 and a touchdown. Again, the ability of the DC Defenders to change their defensive scheme to really be able to shore up and stop the dual threat of Max Duggan and force him to be a passing threat only, which they very easily shut down, I think was the really key to victory for them here. A lot of the trickery that the Battlehawks added to their offensive playbook after Max Duggan became the starter due to injury was shut down, and they were forced to play a more traditional style of football. And the struggles that Max Duggan continued to have trying to be a pocket passer were apparent. And I'm not hating on the guy. I think he still has a lot of upside for a quarterback. He just has a lot of learning, I think, to do, because like that right there, like you got to get rid of the ball. That was plenty of time to throw the ball. And you end up getting these long situations, and then it's a design quarterback run, and they just have spies waiting on you, and you get pounced on. So it's been a rough adjustment for him. It's a rough adjustment for many athletic college quarterbacks that go to the next level. Whoa, Tamu. Because of just the limitations of college and then going to the NFL, the speed change. There's a lot of adjustments that need to happen. So I think Duggan can still make those adjustments. It's just going to take a lot of work. It is totally possible for it to happen, and I'm rooting for him. The guy is a really, really energetic and charismatic guy and puts his body on the line constantly, especially for a quarterback. But again, hats off to DC, just out scheming in many ways, in my opinion. Any thoughts for you guys?
So much, yeah.
Make sure I heard this. How many rushes did Tamu have? You said only 2?
Only 2.
Huh.
I'm so.
That's what the stat sheet says.
A battle clock.
No, I'm just surprised. Like, damn, I'm surprised.
Yep,
Like,
no.
I'm surprised he didn't. There was not more rush, design run plays for him, or
For Tamu's
Maybe it's because
been more of a. Tamu's been more of like a just like gets out of the pocket if needs be. That generally, I don't feel like they run a ton of like
True.
running plays for him. He's developed into a much more solid.
No, they usually have a decent. They have a decent run game with their running backs without Tamu. So
I mean, yeah, Deion
Okay,
Jackson,
actually,
21 for
yeah.
110 and 2
Yeah.
touchdowns was
But-
amazing.
but it was
Yeah.
2 rush. Like, thing is though, just 2 rushes. Like,
Oh.
oh wow, 2 rushes. Yeah, that's damn. Just 2 rushes the whole game.
Yeah,
That just surprised me in
Mhm.
general. Like, because I'm used to hearing like probably at least 5 rushes at least.
yeah. A lot of them can you just take off downfield after like protection collapses, but honestly, there wasn't a ton of pressure. I feel like from the Battlehawks. I mean, if you look at the stats here, they had 1 sack on the day, while the defenders had 9 tackles for losses, as well as 2 forced fumbles. Like defensively, it was a dominant performance for DC. So yeah, that will bring us now to the coverage of the up and coming UFL championship game, where we do our predictions. Before we do, let's go ahead and take a look if anyone's going to be able to pass K-Duff. Massa, why don't you give us the
Nope.
score tallies?
So bottom up, Gorlami 27-15. He went 2-2 in week 10.
Count for me if I
missed
haven't
last
been
week.
here.
Well, you gave the predictions for week 10. Then it's me at 31-17. I went 4-1 this week. Then it's Lob at 31-16 at 2-3 this week. Then it's Mamba who's 40-10, went 5-0 this week. And then K-Duff 46-10, 3-2 this week.
46-10, just hit that double-digit loss. An amazing prediction. Amazing prediction. So, the last one that we have here is in St. Louis, Missouri, between DC and Michigan. It is the stalwart defense of the DC Defenders and the explosive, greatest show on turf-esque Michigan Panthers offense. I am going to go with the Panthers here. I think the Panthers are going to get the win, and I'll give it to them by 3. I think Bryce Perkins and company can pull through with a victory.
You know, I'm loving Panthers. So give me the Panthers by 7.
I'll say Michigan by 4.
Ooh. Panthers by 7?
Wow, KDF is the only one rocking DC.
Yes, I am. Give me the Defenders by 7.
Defenders by 7. Alrighty. Let me just make sure. If I go to news, there's not
Sure you have
anything
your list
about-
ready?
I
I
do.
think they're gonna have it during the week, not like.
Oh, they have had it. Yes, they do have it. So,
Oh,
PETA, PETA, is Defensive Player of the Year. He was leading the league in sacks. Totally expected that. Bryce Perkins, Offensive Player of the Year. Totally expected that. Special Team Player of the Year, Kendrick Whitehead Jr. From the Michigan Panthers. And then the head coach, Fred Case of the DC Defenders. Great job there.
Yeah.
Assistant coach of the year, and then head coach obviously was the interim head coach who took over as head coach. I believe he's still technically called interim, but again, they're in the final, so Shannon Harris took over.
You could be head coach for as far as.
Forget, do they do an MVP? I thought they did.
I thought it was like one each.
Checking.
Not seeing anything for it.
I don't know if
overall
they
MVP.
got. I don't know if they're gonna say anything.
Yeah. But it looks like it's
Not yet.
Perkins. If it would be, I feel like it would be Perkins, unless they're going to go the NFL route where it's like the offensive player of the year is the runner-up. So
They just
yeah,
haven't said anything yet on who's MVP. They might say it during the championship game or near.
but congrats to those individuals. Totally expected for PETA and Bryce Perkins. Obviously didn't know enough about the special teams. Kendrick Whitehead. We're not that much of UFL sickos yet. But also the DC head coaching staff with all the coaching changes. Great job by both. Well deserved. Also well deserved for the players of the year. So there we go. And now the favorite part of a episode is a tier list.
Oh boy.
What is it going to be this time? What's going to put on board games?
Hey.
Okay.
Oh, it should be right up Madison's alley because you didn't have a
S
smartphone
tier.
back in his
I
day.
am going to make
Yeah, hold
power
on.
swap.
Can you put Axis Allies at like S tier?
Shout out.
Hell yeah.
Catan A tier.
Catan A tier.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Shoots and Ladders F.
Damn.
Wheels and
Damn.
escalators.
Clue
Wheels
is
and
A tier.
escalators.
Clue is A tier.
Right beside Yahtzee.
So we gotta do it. So we gotta do it in order.
All right.
All right. Car Sick. Have you ever played this game?
Hold on. I'm trying. Somehow that looks familiar. No. Okay. Never. Okay. No, I never played that one.
All right, and then
Sorry,
Gloomhaven.
it almost. I haven't played it, but I kind of want to.
All right, the classic chess.
It used to be pretty good. At chess.
B tier.
All right, Cranium.
Oh, I used to love Cranium games when I was a
Trying.
kid.
Hold on. I'm trying to remember Cranium. Oh no, I've
Did a lot of
not
puzzle games for.
played that one.
Ticket to Ride.
They're better. They're better be part cheesy on this list.
I never played Ticket to Ride either.
All right, Apples to Apples. Like Cards
or
Against Humanity
Cards
for
Against Humanity
babies.
rated G.
For Apples to Apples, I haven't played Apples to Apples.
All
Haven't
right,
played
Battleship.
Battleship's fun.
it. C or B. It's a decent one. B.
Okay. Then Candyland.
Oh, Candyland is on here. Good. Love that shit as a kid.
D.
Okay. Cards Against Humanity.
S.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Yahtzee.
I don't think I've ever played Yahtzee.
D. That wasn't much for Yahtzee.
Jenga.
C. It could be.
All right. Sorry.
Sorry for what?
B.
All right. Blockus.
C.
C.
It was C. I never heard of that one.
Solid game. It's pretty fun. Trivial Pursuit. So
B tier.
B. All right. Risk.
I played tested the Holdfast version of that with Mamba once.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Risk is a weird one. Like C. Like it depends.
Yeah.
I think it's just on my mood.
The classic Scrabble.
A tier. It can be fun.
All right. Plinko or something.
I never even
Plunk?
seen that one.
You know,
Yeah. The Game of Life.
Life in general sucks.
D.
D. All right.
Yeah.
Operation.
C.
No,
I don't know.
D.
It was
Solid,
kind of
solid
fun in
game.
my childhood.
Hungry Hippos.
A tier. I don't know.
A
It was
tier.
just so stupid.
It was so
How was
stupid.
11
Connect
ever-
4.
Yeah.
B tier.
All right. Monopoly.
F because it makes everybody hate each other.
F. Like it's not like there's no
Mousetrap.
Mousetrap. Oh my god, Mousetrap. I would just start messing with this B. It was just when I was so young. God damn, just
Pictionary.
start messing with- I never really played Pictionary.
Okay. Pie face.
That I never heard of.
It's
Categories.
basically like playing Russian roulette with a handful of shaving cream, essentially.
Categories. I'm trying to remember if I've no. I don't think I ever
Okay.
played one.
Stratego.
S.
Oh, it's so
right.
good.
I remember,
Trouble.
dude. I remember playing that with my dad. Stratego. Trouble.
It was such a shitty made game. You could tell it was cheap.
What? Trouble or
Trouble.
Jay was pretty.
Yeah, Trouble was like
F?
made someone's
Yeah.
The
backyard.
bubble,
F.
the bubble popper was like would break instantly.
This is an
That's
old person
backgammon. I think that's a
Backgammon.
I was gonna say it's
backgammon.
either backgammon or there's another one I remember when I went to therapy. When I was a kid, I think it was like Medcala or something like that.
I played
Oh,
it a
God.
couple times. I'm trying to remember.
I played Mancala before.
Oh, you know it. Okay.
See, I think I remember playing it. I just can't remember.
Right, there we go. Because I remember, did you play Axis and Allies before we played it on the vacation?
Yes,
Okay.
I have played it before. My dad had like a really old one. Like,
I forgot you guys met up.
yeah, it was at the beach at the beach house that his parents had, because it's like maybe a 2-hour drive for me.
Yeah, it's actually pretty close for him. So it was a lot of fun. We had an ongoing Axis and Allies game where it was just the two of us. We were both playing as like each side, and it lasted a long time. But we play like an hour and then like call it quits, do something else, and
We went.
yell at the TV
we went
because the West Virginia
You-
quarterback had the wind up of a fucking grandmother.
Or I was playing Super Smash Brothers, or playing Super Smash Brothers, and you're like freaking out. I was like, what do I do? I'm just moving around.
I am terrible at
Or-
Super Smash Brothers. I've never been good at it.
I'm
I
not-
get absolutely
I'm
diddled
good
by
with.
people.
I'm good as long as Mr. Game Watch hits a 9.
I'm not-
Shout out, Mr. Game Watch.
Okay, I'm not that good compared to what I played against some other people.
Oh
though.
yeah, I've seen
They
some
just-
people. I was once at a video game tournament where I was playing a different video game, but there was like also a Smash Brothers tournament on the side. So I watched like one match, and I'm like, I'm about to get an aneurysm. I what's going on? I feel old. Like I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, I remember playing X-Allies in college before with some people. But we went through like at least 6 or 7 turns, so it wasn't like we did nothing. We went.
Oh
through
no,
some
we went.
turns.
Yeah, I mean, we were there for a week, and the game lasted. Like, we started the second day, and I think we ended the day before the last day. Like we went at we had a fun time with it. All right, that marks the end of this episode. We will be back next week to break down the UFL final and talk about it there. We're also considering doing a mini college football tournament when the new college football 26 drops sometime in July, I believe. Might be later than that, maybe. Yeah. But once we do next week's episode, we will probably have our off season, since there's no meaningful football going on until the preseason starts to kick off. And even then, I don't think we'll be covering preseason games. We'll be just following some news, making episodes, something big happens, yada, 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 yada. So, yeah, stuff like that. We'll do some predictions for the upcoming season, stuff of that nature. We've already done grades and everything like that. So, we'll be a little bit of a lull in the football, but again, that absence of football gets us more anticipating for the actual football season. So I'm super excited for that. I just need,
Leave me alone!
Just do it. Just sign them both. Just sign them both. Just sign them both.
So I had a lag. My internet lagged on me, so I couldn't. Tell
So,
what was going
yeah.
on.
Let's just do it together. 1, 2, 3.
All right. Anyway,
I'm gonna sit in this one.
for the love of my sanity and gray hairs on my head, stop fucking around, Bengals. And enjoy football, everyone. Make sure you enjoy the UFL. We got 1 week left. Watch the Bryce Perkins show. I know I will be tuned in for that game. I'm super excited for it. So enjoy the football as it's coming to a close to UFL season. Enjoy some of this summer weather if it's not too blistering hot for you like it is here in Indiana sometimes. And most importantly, run the damn ball. Have a good night.